Real Madrid has been walking a thin line between brilliance and instability this season. The club is winning, yes, but behind the scenes, tension has been silently shaping the environment. And within that tension, the relationship between Xabi Alonso and Vinícius Jr. became one of the most critical storylines. What once looked like a growing internal fracture is now the very thing fueling the team's revival. If you enjoy Real Madrid updates like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and comment your thoughts below. Your support helps us bring even more high-quality breaking news. The spark of change began when Vini, after weeks of visible frustration, finally rediscovered something essential: joy. His trademark smile, once replaced by irritation and anxiety, returned as he stepped onto the pitch in the last 3 matches. This wasn't random. It was the result of a tactical and emotional reset orchestrated by Xabi Alonso himself. In clashes against Olympiacos, Girona and Athletic Bilbao, Xabi adjusted Vini's role in a way that unlocked the Brazilian's most dangerous qualities. Instead of being pushed into deep defensive zones or glued to the touchline, he was repositioned as a second striker alongside Mbappé, still drifting to the left, but now with real freedom to attack. The difference was immediate. He played higher, ran into open spaces, and stopped wasting energy on constant defensive tracking. For anyone who followed his rise at Flamengo, this evolution felt natural. Vinícius has always been an attacker built for open fields, for vertical football, for situations where he can accelerate and break defensive lines. Xabi's adjustment didn't reinvent him. It restored the version of Vini that thrives on chaos, unpredictability, and speed. And the numbers prove the transformation. Against Olympiacos, he delivered 2 assists in Mbappé's 4-goal show, dominating the final third with confidence. Against Girona, he led all players in shots, 7 attempts, coming close to matching Mbappé's expected goals. In San Mamés, he again produced 4 shots, as dangerous as the French superstar, missing only the final detail to score. But this shift wasn't just tactical. It was emotional. Before the change, the relationship between Vini and Xabi was strained. The Brazilian reacted poorly to being substituted in El Clásico, leaving the field visibly angry and later issuing an apology that notably excluded Xabi's name. Inside a club as scrutinized as Real Madrid, such details matter. Vini felt his prominence slipping away. In 13 matches he started only 9 and finished just 3. The system restricted his influence and forced him into defensive tasks he believed undervalued his strengths. The frustration grew so deeply that, behind closed doors, he briefly considered whether continuing at Real Madrid under those conditions made sense, especially with Mbappé absorbing global attention and renewal discussions scheduled for 2026. The tension reached a point where the future of both player and coach felt unexpectedly intertwined. But everything shifted when Xabi decided to give Vini the freedom he had been missing. The tactical change wasn't just strategic, it was symbolic. It told Vini he was still essential, still trusted, still part of the project. The reconciliation became clear in their emotional embrace at San Mamés, a moment that felt like the closing chapter of a conflict and the beginning of a new dynamic. It wasn't empty affection, it was relief. Vini needed harmony. Xabi needed unity. And Real Madrid needed both to align. This first chapter of their renewed relationship didn't just bring peace. It reignited Real Madrid's attack and set the stage for a new, more dangerous version of the team. The reconciliation between Xabi Alonso and Vinícius Jr. didn't just calm the atmosphere inside Valdebebas. It reshaped Real Madrid's tactical identity and long-term direction. What could have escalated into a structural crisis has instead become the foundation of a new, more balanced and more dangerous Madrid. And the timing could not be better. The club is rebuilding, redefining roles and preparing for a multi-year project that demands harmony at the top. With Vini now more liberated in the attack, Real Madrid's system has undergone a subtle but powerful transformation. The 4-4-2 introduced by Xabi, once questioned for limiting creative players, now feels natural and fluid. Vinícius and Mbappé have begun forming a partnership that is less about hierarchy and more about complementary chaos. One draws defenders, the other exploits space. One sprints, the other finishes. One destabilizes, the other punishes. For the first time this season, Madrid looks unpredictable in the final third. This evolution has unlocked the midfield as well. Tchouaméni, Valverde, and Camavinga, players built for intensity and verticality, now have room to advance without leaving the team exposed. Valverde's late runs, Tchouaméni's forward pressure, and Camavinga's ball progression blend seamlessly with an attack that stretches defenses horizontally and vertically. The entire structure breathes better, moves faster, and reacts quicker. What once felt forced now feels inevitable. The most interesting part? The new system doesn't require Vini to be the top scorer, something he no longer needs to prove. Instead, he has become the engine of opportunity, the player who gives Mbappé the stage while simultaneously regaining his own. His assists, his dribbles, his unpredictability, all of it shifts defenses out of shape and feeds Madrid's most lethal weapon. This level of maturity, playing for the team rather than the spotlight, has elevated his importance rather than diminished it. And Real Madrid is fully aware of this. Behind closed doors, the club's leadership sees the recent harmony as a critical turning point. Renewal talks in 2026 no longer feel like a threat on the horizon. They feel like a natural continuation. Vini has expressed repeatedly that he wants to stay, and his renewed smile, revived form, and reborn chemistry with Xabi reinforce that sentiment far more than any contract line. He no longer feels overshadowed by Mbappé. Instead, he feels partnered with him. On the coach's side, Xabi Alonso has strengthened his authority not through rigidity, but through adaptation. His willingness to modify the system, acknowledge tension, and rebuild trust has earned respect in the locker room. Players now view him not only as a tactician, but as a manager capable of leading one of the most complex dressing rooms in world football. This reconciliation with Vini may become the defining moment of his early tenure. Looking toward the future, Real Madrid suddenly stands at the start of a promising cycle. The squad is young, dynamic, and interconnected. Mbappé and Vinícius form one of the most explosive duos in Europe. The midfield trio is versatile and powerful. And the tactical framework, once rigid, is now flexible, built to evolve, not restrict. If this synergy continues, Real Madrid is poised to dominate not just the present season but the coming years. Every great Madrid era begins with a moment when the pieces click, when the internal atmosphere stabilizes, and when the stars align both literally and figuratively. Many believed the tension between Xabi and Vini was a sign of breakdown. Instead, it has become the spark of revival. And now, as the club marches into the decisive phase of the season, one truth is clear. Real Madrid plays differently when Vinícius Jr. is smiling. And with Xabi Alonso guiding him, that smile may define the next great chapter of the Bernabeu's history.